Good afternoon. We are live here from Saddleback College Baseball for another edition of Saddleback Baseball right here on SportsNetUSA.net. I'm Albert Robles, joined with me, as usual, Noah Alvarez. Both of us here on the call bringing you all the action between today's Orange Empire Conference matchup between your Saddleback College Bobcats and the Dons of Santa Ana College. Right now, as it stands in the OEC, Santa Ana currently in second in the OEC with a record of 11-5 in the conference, currently 24-11 overall. Saddleback, meanwhile, currently in fourth place, 8-8 in the OEC, and 22-13 overall. I know you cover a lot of Santa Ana College in general. What can you say about the Dons coming into today's matchup versus the Bobcats?
Well, both these teams have been very banged up. Dons are suffering some more injuries, and so we'll see how they respond. They lost all 3 games to Cypress College last week. Lost the first game of this series on Tuesday, so we'll see if they can bounce back or if Saddleback takes advantage.
And, of course, as you mentioned, Cypress being a very dominant team once again this year. They, of course, are first in the OEC as we're about to get underway with the first pitch. First pitch is high and in for a ball. First pitch on the mound is going to be Anderson Wolf for the Bobcats. Leading off for the Dons is number 7, Jack Mueller. So that pitch is fouled out of play for strike 1-1, the count. Wolf sets, delivers. Nice breaking ball in the zone for a strike, 1-2.
Yeah, Anderson Wolf got the start last week against Golden West. He went 3 innings, gave up 3 runs, 5 hits, picked up 2 strikeouts, and didn't factor into the decision. But the Bobcats did win 8-5.
Fly ball out towards center field. Ranging in the play is Derflinger, so 1 out already here in the top of the first. Having a bit of camera issues with our center field, so do be patient with us. We're doing everything that we can. So next at the plate is number 2, Christian Altamirano. Ripped out into center field. It's going to fall in for a base hit. So 1 on, 1 out here for the Dons in the top of the first. It's going to bring up Mason Kelly. Anderson Wolf checks the runner. It's set. First pitch, low and away.
So Kelly's from a small town called Sumner, Washington, about 1 hour and 10 minutes away from Seattle. Spent some time at an NAIA school before coming to Santa Ana College.
That one finds a zone for a strike, 1-1 the count.
Keep a close eye on Altamirano over at first. He leads the team with 9 stolen base attempts on the year. He's 6 for 9, correction.
Altamirano very carefully studying Wolf as that one is hit down the third base line. Stays fair for a base hit. Altamirano goes first to third. And Kelly is standing at second with a stand-up double.
Yeah, it was going to be a tough play for the third baseman, Dasco still. It looked like he maybe got a tip of his glove on it, but sneaks into left field. Deach.
So up to bat now, number 18, Connor Deach. Deach coming in with an average of .336 on the season. That's 5th best here for the Santa Ana lineup. Fouled off the right field, out of play.
Looks like the corner infielders are going to play about even with the bag, not necessarily at the edge of the grass, but early on trying to prevent that run from coming on home.
Yeah, they're not quite playing no doubles defense, but they are as far back as they can reasonably get while also trying to prevent runs. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Low and away.
Deach went to Mission Viejo High School. It's always interesting to see when players leave the area and go to a community college, maybe a few miles away instead of the one local.
And, of course, the community college route is, I feel, an underestimated route, as there are numerous players that you can name who have made it to the major leagues but also started off at the community college level. And, of course, Saddleback is no exception to that. Tim Wallach, Mark Grace, of course, went to Saddleback College. There are quite a few players who went down to Cypress College and made it to the majors.
Yeah, even the catcher that we have today, Rodrigo Barajas Jr., his dad went to Cerritos College before getting drafted and playing 14 seasons in the majors.
And, of course, Rod Barajas Sr., former Dodger catcher and former major leaguer. I believe currently a coach somewhere in the majors. I forget where specifically.
We'll look that up. But he won a World Series with the Diamondbacks, 2001.
3-1 the count, 2 on, 1 out here in the top of the first. Don's threatening here early on. Takes it on the corner, full count to Connor Deach. Conservative leads on second and third as Wolf steps off. Second base umpires calling a time violation.
If that's the case, it's either strike 3 or ball 4. The pitcher made a move over to second. No one was covering, so he just threw it to the shortstop. Not sure what the ruling on that one is, but if the second base umpire says it's a clock violation with it, a full count.
Yeah, Stephen Wanamaker made a gesture to his watch out on the field as if there was a violation, so I'm not quite sure if either the hitter was not in the box ready to go or if Anderson Wolf was ready to actually make the pitch. He did step off, so we'll see what the actual ruling is.
So it is ball 4. He didn't get it in time.
And, yep, that is the call. So Deach making his way to first base with a pitcher violation walk. So bases full of Dons, only 1 out here to go. That's going to bring up Ken Tomataka. Playing third base here today. Fouled out of play, strike 1.
To follow up on Barajas Sr., he's currently with the Rocket City Trash Pandas, the AA affiliate of the Los Angeles Angels.
One of my favorite minor league teams, purely by name alone. Ball in the dirt, 1-1, the count to Tomataka. And Anderson Wolf comes in today with an ERA of 5.96. So already struggling here and probably looking to increase that ERA if he gets any of these runners across here.
Yeah, throughout the season, they've used a couple different starters. They haven't really had a consistent performance from the starters that they've had on the mound. Before Anderson Wolf last week got the start in game number 2 as Sammy Kova, who was usually that day 2 starter.
And, of course, mentioned earlier that, the Dons have their issues with injuries. So do, the Bobcats. And it's really telling when you have, the Barajas brothers, a catching family. The younger brother, Jace, he's pitching this year.
Mm-hmm.
So you're hung up for pitching when you got to make one of your catchers a pitcher. But, of course, it's not uncommon for a team to convert a catcher to a pitcher. I mean, the Dodgers did it with Kenley Jansen. Look what happened there.
Got to do what you got to do, especially at this level. Find a way.
Mm-hmm. Full count here to Tomataka. Payoff pitch in the dirt, ball 4. And a bases loaded walk gives the Dons the early lead. And that brings across Altamirano in from third to score the first run.
Yeah, much different start than in Game 1 on Tuesday. It was Jack Allison who started on the mound for the Bobcats. And as a pitching staff, they didn't give up any runs to the Dons on Tuesday. Allison went 5 innings, only gave up 5 hits, hit 2 batters, so 7 base runners total were allowed. But he looked pretty dominant in that Tuesday performance. Saddleback came out on top 5-0. Again, 2 more weeks left in the season, so all these series are very important for seeding-wise in the Southern California regional playoffs.
So here's Kian Sanchez, first baseman for the Dons. And on the play looking to do some damage. Takes a first pitch low and away for a ball.
And Sanchez is one of those guys who's been banged up. He started the first 5 games of the year, had a hand injury that forced him to miss about 2.5 weeks, and then came back for about a week and a half before suffering a lower leg injury. So it's been that kind of season for both these teams, really.
1-0 pitch in for a strike. Kian Sanchez batting .333 on the season. 13 runs and 22 hits, 17 hits to his name. 3 of them doubles. High and tight inside, ball 2.
It just looks like Anderson Wolf is really struggling to find the strike zone and get into any sort of a rhythm.
And when you look at, the averages here for the Dons, a good majority of their lineup batting over 300. So this is a group who knows how to put the ball in play when they absolutely need to and can really show their discipline as that ball finds the corner for a strike. 2-2 the count to Sanchez.
Yeah, it's a tale of 2 different teams. The Dons hit .350 as a team, while Saddleback hits .272, but their pitching staff ERA is .389 compared to Santa Ana's .498.
Just low for a ball. Full count to Sanchez.
And it just looks like the Dons are very comfortable with taking these pitches. They know that Wolf is going to be a little too cute and try and nibble at the corners.
Grounded foul. So Anderson Wolf once again with the payoff pitch. Called strike 3. And Sanchez goes down looking. It's going to bring up number 3, Nathaniel Williams, playing left field here for the Dons.
Again, another guy playing more because of the injuries. He's actually listed as an infielder. Started the season at third base. Also played some first base this season. but starting in left field due to some injuries that the Dons suffered early in the season.
So bases loaded, 2 outs here for Williams. Williams batting .340 on the season. And Anderson Wolf looking to escape what could be a very disastrous inning.
Yeah, if Wolf gets out of this inning only allowing 1 run, that's a huge win for the Bobcats and head coach Summer McCartney.
Second pitch falls in for a strike. 1-1 the count to Williams. Hit out into left field. Tracking it down and reining it in is Sisitko. And that is the final out of the first. So Anderson Wolf does escape what could have been a very disastrous inning. 1 run on 2 hits. And the Dons with an early 1-0 lead. So we head to the bottom of the first. It's going to be Sisitko, Derflinger, and Nilsson to lead things off here for the Bobcats. They'll, of course, face off against Adam Collins starting on the mound here today for Santa Ana. Aiden, sorry, thank you. I totally can't read my own handwriting. Yeah, because when I was writing it down, my little I went right against the A, so it just went right into like, eh. Penmanship matters, people. Hey, center field looks pretty good right now.
It stays that way.
It's looking good right now. It was not being very cooperative earlier for us. These are just the things that we work with, and we adapt.
So Aiden Collins spent most of this season as a reliever. He's usually the closer for the Dons this season, but Andrew Parker, the usual day 2 starter of the week, dealing with some injuries, so Collins thrusted into a starting position. He's only started 1 other game. That was during the bye week when he faced off against Long Beach City. But he's originally from Pacifica High School, went to Cal State Northridge, and spent the 2023 season there before bouncing back to Santa Ana College.
Your research makes me smile, Noah.
Hey, I have a lot of fun doing it. It always adds to the broadcast. I have a couple more little fun facts for you later on in the broadcast that I'm sure you'll enjoy.
Oh, I know it, and I'm ready for it. So here's Dmitry Sisitko batting .341. Best average on the team for the Bobcats. .45 hits across this season for him. 6 doubles, 1 triple, and only 1 home run, but 22 RBIs to his name on the season. That first pitch goes in for a ball. So 1-0 count early on here to Sisitko.
And while we were setting up for today's broadcast, I had the pleasure of meeting Sisitko's father, who told us the story that at J. Serra, because they won the CIF championship in 2022 and 23, but Sisitko as a junior hit the game-winning base knock to drive in the game-winning run for J. Serra as they went on to win the CIF championship.
Oh, congrats to him. That's a wonderful moment to have as a young player. Way high, 3-0 to Sisitko. We'll see if he has the green light here. But so far, Colin has yet to find the strike zone. Ball 4.
Still very early, but it seems like both starters just really can't find the strike zone. So we'll see who can take advantage and make them pay. I think the Dons are going to be upset at themselves for only getting one run with the bases loaded in the top of the first.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, when you have the bases loaded and a struggling Damon Anderson-Wolf on the mound who, it's not like he was having trouble finding the zone. He just really wasn't kind of getting the swings and chases that he really wanted to actually get. But luckily, you know, defense really came through for him in that top of the first. I believe all the outs are flyouts.
Keep an eye on Sasidko, too. He is second on the team with 18 stolen bases, 18 of 23 on the year.
So I've been caught stealing 5 times. And he can chalk up another stolen base for Sasidko. That's going to be number 19 on the season for him.
And with that high leg kick from Colin, too, really no chance for Deach to throw him out from behind the home plate.
So 1-1 to Derflinger. So that pitch is fouled away, 1-2. Colin sets. And that is going to hit Derflinger right there on the elbow. So runners on first and second, nobody out. That's going to bring up Nilsson.
Two fastest men in the lineup, too, for the Bobcats on base. Derflinger leads the team with 25 stolen bases, and we mentioned Sisitko just picked up his 19 stolen base. So any ball hit into the gap could be 2 runs for the Bobcats.
And with this field having a lot of space in the outfield, any ball to the gap absolutely should score Sisitko from second. As Nilsson offers at the first pitch, 0-1.
Kind of a big right center field as well. It's 382 to right center versus 373 to left. The wall also kind of angles a little bit more out there, so could be tricky for the visiting team outfielders.
Low in the zone, in for a strike, 0-2 to Andres Nilsson. Outside, ball 1.
In Tuesday's game, Nilsson very good at the plate as far as plate discipline. He worked 2 walks, went 0 for 2 on the day, but was on base twice.
Just inside, ball 2. So in this bat, it looked as if Aiden Collin was kind of finding his stride as he had Nilsson an 0-2 count. The next 2 pitches went outside and inside respectively. And he gets Nilsson to chase for strike 3.
And sometimes you do see that a lot at this level when a pitcher does have 2 strikes, especially 0-2. They almost try and get too cute with it. You almost rather have that approach of stay in the tag zone and throw something where it forces the batter to swing. But those 2 strikes or the 2 balls that he threw before that were so off the plate, very easy takes. Nilsson does go down swinging.
In the dirt, ball 1. So that's going to bring up number 14, Jacob Bouchain. And looks like that has hit Bouchain as well. So that's the second hit batter here today.
Looked like a breaking ball too, so again, nothing intentional here with these pitches, but Collins just kind of been all over the place. Can only imagine how hard it is to go from that reliever role position, especially closer. You're put into some tight situations, but to start the game, it kind of throws off your rhythm. You're not getting the same preparation or lead up to your outing, and we're going to see an early mound visit from the pitching coach here at Santa Ana College. But bases loaded, right? 1 out. Stop if we've heard that before. It was the same exact scenario for the Dons in the top of the first.
Absolutely, and that's going to bring up the catcher, Rodrigo Barajas Jr. And, of course, we saw him play quite a few games last year covering the Saddleback Bobcats.
Yeah, had a better year at the plate his freshman year. Sometimes you see that as well. Hit 329 in 43 starts for the Bobcats.
A sophomore slump, if you will.
And then this year hitting 263. Still not a bad average, but, you know, as a sophomore, you would hope to have a higher, or if not, about the same average that you did your freshman year. But maybe there's more tape on you, and, you know, it's a very competitive Orange Empire conference. There's not really a whole lot of easy opponents in this conference, so.
Batting average is lacking, but of course his RBI is up there, 26 RBIs. I believe that's third on the team.
Tied for the most home runs with 6.
So he definitely can still swing the bat. As that first pitch goes outside for a ball, 1-0 to the sophomore catcher.
He has good speed out of the box too, so something on the ground doesn't guarantee you an out.
Drilled out to right field for a base hit. 1 run in, 2 runs are in. So Sasitko and Derflinger driven in on the 2 RBI single from Rodrigo Barajas. Advancing to second is Bouchane. So runners on first and second, only 1 out. And that's going to bring up, because I can't remember the first names here, Joey Doskosil. I totally pronounced it right earlier, and I totally just blanked on the names. Outside, 1-0. Pitch in the dirt, almost skips away. Runners will stay where they are at. 2-0 the count. So Bobcats able to capitalize on a bases loaded single from Barajas. They go up 2-1. Inside, 3-0 to Doskosil.
Again, this is how Collins started the game, too, to that first batter in Sisitko. We'll see if he can get a boost of confidence here and throw one into the zone.
That does find the zone. 3-1. Bobcat bench getting very chirpy, supporting their guy currently at the plate.
The OEC, though, is one of those conferences, we've spent a couple years now broadcasting their games for different teams. It feels like every team gets a little chirpy, and teams are at their best when they're chirpy because it usually means they're confident, right?
Full count pitch, grounded up the left side for a base hit, rounding third and in to score is James Bouchane. And the Bobcats now have a 3-1 lead. Runners still on first and second.
In the top of the first, I was wondering how long of a leash they'd give Anderson Wolf, but now we're here wondering in the bottom of the first how long of a leash they're going to give Aiden Collin. It's an important game for the Dons, who lost game 1 on Tuesday. And look, it's going to be the second mound visit, so Aiden Collins' day is done, and he only recorded 1 out.
So new pitcher coming in for the Dons. Looks like it's going to be number 44, Matthew Solorzano. Solorzano with an ERA of 4.76 across 11 and a third innings of work. We'll see how long of a leash Solorzano will actually be given by the Dons head coach here. But if anything, he'll be looking to just kind of get out of this inning, maybe give him one more altogether. As Solorzano only has 10 appearances across those 11 innings, so odds are probably not going to go more than the one inning or maybe more than the 2 outs he's looking to get here.
Yeah, his longest outing of the season. He's done it 3 different times. He's pitched 2 full innings 3 different times this season. The last outing came against Cypress College on Friday in game number 3 of that series, and he pitched 2/3 of an inning, gave up 4 runs, 2 hits, walked 2 batters. He's one of those pitchers you see a lot at this level, just kind of like the starter. They have nasty stuff, but sometimes they don't always put it in the zone, and they run into some trouble by walking batters, making things a little bit more difficult for themselves. 8 walks in those 11 and a third innings versus 11 strikeouts, so some of those are self-inflicted wounds there.
So play ball says home plate umpire Stuart Kohler. Solorzano ready to go. Only 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Runners on first and second. 3-1 our score in favor of the Bobcats. Scoring was set off on a 2 RBI base hit by Rodrigo Barajas. And Doskasil then had a base hit, drove in another run. And up to plate right now is going to be number 4, Bryson Hoyer.
Hoyer was important in Tuesday's win. He hit that 2-run home run in the top of the second, gave them an early 2-0 lead. Finished the day 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs.
So Solorzano getting ahead here of Hoyer, 1-2 the count. Barajas on second, Doskasil on first. Fouled out and out of play.
Hoyer was another player last year as a freshman. Got significant playing time. Started 33 games for the Bobcats. Hit 189, though.
Solorzano sets the 2-2 pitch. Out to left field. In for a base hit. Barajas scores. Going from first to third is Doskasil. And Hoyer standing in at second.
We mentioned, too, how when Williams was at the plate, he's a natural infielder playing left field today. Once he got to that ball, he kicked it more into the corner, and that's why Doskasil was able to get to third and Hoyer at to second. I think he ruled that a single and then an error.
I was just about to say what that was going to be. So a base hit and an E7 there. 4-1 our score. Runners on second and third, still only 1 out. So Solorzano unable to do the job so far. I believe that run will still be charged to Colin.
Infield's going to play in for the Dons all across, all at the edge of the grass or very close to it.
1-1, the count to Carlson. Way outside, 2-1.
Carlson's the number 8 hitter, and he's hitting 176 on the season. There's no reason to not attack him and force him to put something into play.
Yeah, when your batting average around the Mendoza line, there's really no excuse to not go directly at him. That one way outside, but Carlson chases 2-2. Fouled back. So Lozano will try again. And Carlson goes down swinging, second out.
Yeah, big out number 2 there. Now they've got to deal with the 9-hitter Jake Tyler. He also had a nice day at the plate on Tuesday, went 2 for 4 in the 5-0 victory for Saddleback College.
Jake Tyler batting 179 this season, just 3 small points better than Hayden Carlson, as he can't hold back his swing on that one. So quick 0-1 call here to Jake Tyler. Low outside for a ball. In the dirt, but Tyler offers 1-2. You know, when Lozano was clearly struggling a little bit, you would think you would have a little more patience out of both Carlson and now Tyler, as he'll go down swinging for the third and final out. But 4 runs on 3 hits. Bobcats take the lead 4-1. And we head to the top of the second. It's going to be Garrett Allen, Cole Kenrich, and then back around to Jake Mueller to lead things off here in the second. And Damon Anderson Wolf still out on the mound for the Bobcats.
And after that top of the first, you would thought he might have a short outing. But with the Bobcats putting up 4 in the bottom of the first, he has a little bit of comfortability. Even if he does make those mistakes, it won't come back and bite him.
Ideally.
That's one thing about this game, though. It's about capitalizing off the other opponent's mistakes. The Dons had the bases loaded, only got 1 run, where the Bobcats had the bases loaded and ended up picking up 4.
You know, the Dons just couldn't quite get any hit to really fall where they needed to. I think I only saw like maybe 1 ground ball get through, but all of their outs were fly balls.
Yeah, just a bit underneath the ball today this afternoon and not deep enough for it to fly out. Slight breeze out to center field, but it shouldn't really be a factor today unless it picks up.
Actually, correction, there was 1 strikeout. So 1 strikeout, a fly to left and a fly to center. Those are the outs in the top of the first for the Dons. So, but still unable to capitalize when they really needed to with those bases loaded. But here's Garrett Allen, the DH for Santa Ana. Allen batting .314. His first pitch in for a strike. Grounded up the middle for a base hit. So Garrett Allen quickly finds himself on base for Cole Kenrich.
Yeah, both Allen and Kenrich are two guys that are getting a lot more playing time due to those injuries that the Dons suffered early on in the season, and both freshmen have contributed their part.
First pitch in for a strike to Kenrich.
Kenrich didn't start playing till the first week of Orange Empire Conference against Irvine Valley, and he had 6 hits in that series. Obviously, he has cooled down at the plate since then, but proved to be a valuable batter in the lineup.
Kenrich offers at the second pitch, 0-2 the count. And with Allen on first base, only has 1 stolen base on the season out of what looks to be only 1 attempt, as I don't see any caught stealing on his stats. So don't expect really to see Garrett Allen trying to swipe a bag here.
Yeah, he's a big first baseman. First basemen don't like to steal bases. Just as a team, though, in general, the Dons have never really been super aggressive on the base paths. They have 30 stolen bases as a team. Their leading base stealer has 7. In comparison to the Bobcats, they have 69 as a team. Leading stolen base guy has 25.
Single to the left side. 6-4-3 double play. Take a look on that on the replay. Just hit right there to the shortstop, to second, to first. That is as textbook as you can get of a double play.
Yeah, super tailor-made. You almost would rather Kenrich not make contact on that ball because it's too easy out. It's a real momentum killer.
High breaking ball. So fouled out of play, 1-1. So we're back to the top of the lineup. It's Jack Mueller for Santa Ana. Grounded up the right side past the diving second baseman. And in for a base hit.
Yeah, that one just snuck past the second baseman, Tyler. So one second baseman gets it past the other.
It looks like he just had the range, made the diving effort, just went right under the glove and into right field for a base hit. So Mueller is on first with 2 away here. Out to right field. And a nice, easy fly ball for Bashane. And that is the third and final out here in the second. We go to the bottom of the second. And due up, it's the top of the order yet again for the Bobcats, as all 9 batters came up in the first inning for Saddleback. So it's going to be Sisitko, Derflinger, and Nilsson to lead things off against Matthew Sorlozano, who's back out on the mound for a second inning of work. Allowed 1 run to score that I think was officially charged to Aiden Collin, the starting pitcher for Santa Ana, but still able to get the final 2 outs of the first inning and prevent any further damage by the Bobcats, who were absolutely threatening far more runs in that bottom of the first.
It's a pretty good treat here for us today, though. These are the two most recent state championship winners. You actually have to go back to 2019. It's been 4 years in a row that a state champion has produced from the Orange Empire Conference. Before, well, last season it was Saddleback, 2023, Santa Ana. Riverside City won in 22, no playoffs in 21 or 2020. But in 2019, Orange Coast College won. So a lot of good pedigree here between these two programs and just in the Orange Empire Conference in general.
First pitch to Sisitko, high outside, ball one. One 0 pitch outside, ball two. So if you're Sisitko here, Noah, you're just going to make Solorzano find the zone because he has yet to do it so far.
Yeah, seems like that's been the approach for both these teams. Anderson Wolf was able to find the zone in the top of the second finally, but seems like all three pitchers that we've seen here, whether it's Collins or Lozano or Anderson Wolf, have had their periods of struggle.
High and tight, ball four. So Sisitko once again works a leadoff walk. Yet to have an official at bat.
And again, he's a dangerous runner, not only for his threat to steal, but if you hit one into the alley, he's scoring from first.
And he already swiped a bag in the first inning, increasing his total of stolen bases to 19. We'll see if he goes for number 20 here against Solorzano. First pitch to Derflinger, low outside, ball one.
And that time we saw the slide step from Solorzano. So keep an eye on his front foot and see if he does do a leg kick. Aiden Collin went with that big leg kick, so it was really easy for Sisitko to swipe second.
Throw to first, not in time. As Sisitko able to get back to the base. Sisitko very much studying the movement of Solorzano. You can kind of tell that, oh yeah, I want to run.
Another throw over. In Tuesday's game, it was actually Sisitko. No, correction, it was James Derflinger, the man at the plate now. He was picked off by the starter for the Dons, Josh Rodriguez. Picked him off at first base with a nice quick move.
That pitch in for a strike. 1-1 the count to Derflinger. Sisitko with a pretty conservative lead over at first base.
Expect plenty of throws over, maybe even a pitch out on one of these pitches if Solorzano can get ahead in the count.
The 1-1. And that was exactly it, Noah. Solorzano goes for a pitch out.
But I don't like it on the 1-1 pitch because now you're behind in the count 2-1, a hitter's friendly count. You can't go back-to-back on the pitch out, so I'd rather see that when you're up in the count 1-2.
Solorzano goes back to first base, trying to really disrupt the timing of Sisitko.
And that's one thing that hasn't transferred to the JUCO level. While we do have the pitch clock, right, that it affects the pitcher and the batters, there's no limit to how many times you can throw over.
Yeah, no restriction on that yet. As he gets Derflinger to chase on one low down the middle, 2-2 the count. Another throw back to first, not in time.
Really making them work over there. And after that many slides back, you're less and less likely to go.
It's definitely a good strategy knowing that you don't have any restrictions on how many times you can actually pitch out. Really try to get that runner as worked up as you can. Trying to keep him out of breath. 2-2. Little chopper to third. Out at second. Not in time at first, so a fielder's choice. So Sasitko out at second, and Derflinger safe at first on the fielder's choice. One away for number 35, Andres Nilsson. Struck out in the first inning.
Yeah, expect a lot of throws over, though, to first and slide steps. And just more chess matches. First throw over to check in on Derflinger, but another fast guy on the base paths for the Bobcats. Ooh,
that was a close one.
Yeah.
But Derflinger able to get under the tag and back to first in time. And Derflinger, an even more conservative lead in comparison to Sasitko. I think Sasitko had about maybe a foot more length of a lead compared to Derflinger right now.
Still haven't even seen a pitch to Nilsson.
And this is one element that I do kind of miss at the major league level, like is this chess battle between the pitcher and the hitter and your runners in, you know, the unlimited times you can actually throw over to first and step off a little bit. I do understand the change of pace and play, but at the same time, it's that one element of the game that I do miss.
Yeah, because not only does it throw the timing off of the runner, but the batter as well. He stood in 3 times and only seen 1 pitch.
Here's the 1-0 pitch, outside, 2-0.
But then another part of the chess move is that sometimes the pitcher is so focused on the runner or making a good move that he no longer can focus on throwing strikes, falls behind in the count, and gives Nilsson something good to hit here.
So Lozano set the 2-0 pitch. Low for ball 3.
And again, if he walks him here, he was so concerned about that runner at first base, but a walk moves him to second anyway. So, again, it's a chess match on both sides. You have to be a very strategic pitcher and
like
capable of focusing on both.
And you're down by 3 runs at the moment. There's that pitch in for a strike. And yeah, sure, you know, your runner at first is very speedy, but you did almost get a double play. You got the lead runner, second hitter currently on first. Attack the hitter.
Another
because you're only really doing yourself more damage by, like you said, taking yourself out of the moment. You can't find the zone. You're in a 3-1 hole now to the 3-spot hitter, and your guy's still at first with some speed. Up the middle, base hit. So great patience there and execution by Nilsson.
Yeah, 3-1, he was going to get something good to hit, something straight as well. So Lozano has a lot of movement, but that time he had to throw the fastball because he was down in the count and was throwing so many times over to first base.
Now here's Jacob Bouchain. Hit by pitch in his first plate appearance. Grounds that one to second. The out at second, on to first, in time, double play.
Tailor-made, just like the one we saw for the Bobcats defense. Both these teams turned 2 double plays in Tuesday's game. Looked like it was going to be a pitcher's duel. It was 2-0 into the 6th inning, and that's when the Bobcats started scoring some more runs, and it ended up winning 5-0. But expect both these teams to put together some great defense, and we saw it there from the Dons.
So no runs and 1 hit for the Bobcats here in the second. We go to the top of the third. And coming up for the Dons, it's going to be Christian Altamirano, Mason Kelly, and Connor Deach to lead things off for Santa Ana. And not the usual sunny day we've known to have here, but still a pretty nice day given the cloudiness and overcast nature. Nice cool day, not too hot, not entirely jacket weather, although I feel like I could really use a jacket right now, being right by the open door.
But
it's nice. Yeah, should have switched spots, but this is where the Ethernet is at, where the computer is located, so I'm just kind of stuck here in this little area. But I'm okay with that.
Yeah, how fortunate are we when most of the other countries still dealing with some winter weather, maybe some snow, maybe some rain, and we're over here calling this a relatively chilly day, but temperatures are in the low 60s, no precipitation in the forecast, at least during the day at least, and so pretty fortunate.
And you know, the other thing is, this is one of the few baseball facilities at the JUCO level that actually has a press box.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll take it.
Have you ever made it out to Golden West?
For baseball, yeah.
They have a press box, but it's pretty dangerous in there. It's a little shack. I don't know how they put that up.
It might be new because the one game that we did for Golden West, Mark and I were on a scissor lift calling the game.
Well, if it's the press box that I remember being in last season, it's very janky, and it looks like it was built in something like the 1960s.
I mean, that scissor lift was a little janky, to say the least. I don't know how we managed to do that game, but we were up there doing the call.
So Kelly got a hold of one, but he pulled it well foul. Can't hit for a lot of power. He's second, or tied for second on the team with 5 home runs.
Grounder up the middle past third base for a base hit. So Mason Kelly is on.
Yeah, we mentioned how Kelly, native of Sumner, Washington, he redshirted at Washington State. Then he played at Union College, which is over in Kentucky, an NAIA school. And now he's a sophomore here at Santa Ana College.
So here's Connor Deach. Earned the walk in his first plate appearance back in the first inning. Swings and misses at that one, 0-1.
Deach is one of those players, too, like talking about his season last year. He finished the season hitting .227, nothing to write home about. But in the month of April, he hit .367. And the month of May, he hit .317. So down the stretch, he really came up big for Santa Ana College. Just his regular season total as a whole, not very high.
That ball outside, 1-1, the count to Deach. Grounder once again in the hole between third and short. We got runners on first and second early on here for the Dons. Here's Ken Tomataka. Tomataka also walked in the first. So no official at-bat as of yet for Tomataka. And Anderson Wolf already with 2 runners on after 2 batters here in the third. Had a nice speedy second inning and looks to be off on the wrong foot so far here in the third. Would really love a nice ground out right now.
Corner's playing in at the edge of the grass, maybe expecting Tomitaka to drop down a bunt.
0-1 pitch in for a strike. 0-2 to Tomitaka. Wolf checks the runner. The pitch in the dirt, 1-2.
So Tomitaka played at Beckman High School, another high school kind of in that South County border, you could say, but Beckman went on to win the Division III CIF Southern Section Championship last year, and Tomitaka was a big part of that.
Wolf sets, checks the runner, throws to second.
Pitch clock violation, looks like.
Second time we've seen that again. And looks like we're going to get a little visit here from the Bobcats head coach.
Yeah, Summer McCartney had to talk with the umpire who was standing over by second and called the pitch clock violation. Anderson Wolf has cut it close a few times where it's ticking down to 2 and he finally goes into his motion, but
so we'll see if Toby Wilson agrees at all with Summer McCartney.
so the runner staying put.
So officially a pitch clock violation against the pitcher, 2-2 the count, as indicated by Stuart Kohler. Grounder up the left side. Play at second in time, unable to turn the double play. We got runners on the corners with 1 out.
Yeah, but very important that they at least got 1 because it was that high chopper, and those are always kind of tough in between. You have to make a split-second decision.
So Kelly on third, Tomitaka on first with the fielder's choice. It's going to bring up number 13, Kian Sanchez, struck out in his first plate appearance. Grounder up the left side, foul.
Sanchez from Canyon Crest High School, which is over in San Diego County. Over the past few years, we've seen head coach Tom Nillis do a really nice job of recruiting a handful of players out there in the San Diego region.
Pitch way inside, 1-1 to Sanchez. Tomitaka conservative lead over at first. That pitch right down the middle for a strike, 1-2 to Sanchez. So Anderson Wolf with the right idea, not really focusing on the runners too much, just has his eye straight on the batter.
Different style of play, too, though. The Dons aren't normally aggressive on the base paths, and they don't have any speedsters like Derflinger or Sasidko in the lineup.
But also with a 4-1 lead, you really just want to go after the hitter here with that 1 out, try to get a ground out. Skies that one out to right field. And a quick throw and goes wild, but Anderson Wolf able to cut off the overthrow.
Yeah, very important. Hope the kids at home watching realize that pitcher just doesn't stand there near the mound. You have to find a base to back up on, and was in the right spot at the right time there, prevented either runner from advancing.
So great work there by Wolf to get the fly out to right field over to Bishane. And a great throw by Beauchene to keep the runner at third. Maybe not the most accurate, but had a lot of zip on it, and really great work there by Wolf to back up his catcher on that overthrow.
So here's some fun facts that I think you'll enjoy. Nathaniel Williams is the third Williams brother to play here for Santa Ana College. He had an older brother named James, and then his middle brother Thomas all played here for head coach Tom Nillis. And all three of them were switch hitters.
Neat. It's not very often that you see a switch hitter. And I do feel it's kind of a lost art as that one's ripped into left center for a base hit. Rounding third and trying to score and is out at the plate is Ken Tomataka for the third and final out, but one run does score in Mason Kelly.
Always cool when you see a relay like that, too, in baseball, regardless of the level. Huge play by the center fielder to get it into his cutoff in time, and then the cutoff man makes a very strong throw over on home. It's still an RBI for Williams and the Dons, but instead of it being a 4-3 game, it's a 4-2 game, and that's the third out.
And really just a fantastic play there. So I think Williams gets credited there with the double. Pretty sure he was safe there at second before the throw was actually made. But terrific execution in that relay from center field to your infielders, and a great laser throw to Barajas, who set up perfectly at the plate to get down Tomataka to end the inning. So we go to the bottom of the third here. And we have a new pitcher on the mound for Santa Ana. That's going to be number 17, Bruno Banuelos. Whose name reminds me of one of my favorite Mexican treats. So fried tortilla with cinnamon sugar.
Oh, yeah. It's a big time.
Delicious.
Big hit in our family around Christmas time. Banuelos is one of those pitchers, though. We mentioned how Aiden Collin and Sorlazano, and just other pitchers at this level, regardless of the name and what team they play for, sometimes they have really nasty stuff, but they can't always find the zone, and they run into some trouble. But a guy like Bruno pitches to contact, keeps his pitch count always low. Yeah, he's going to give up some hits and give up some runs, but he's always making the batter swing. Sometimes you almost prefer that versus the guy who's trying to nibble at the corners and ends up walking more guys than he strikes out.
Banuelos with a 3.48 ERA across 6 appearances in 10 innings. It's one of the lowest ERAs on the team, whose name is not J.P. Sova. Big fly ball out to center field, looking to carry. Can't make the catch. It drops off the wall. And in at third, nice and safe and sound, is Rod Barajas Jr. Big time hit for Rodrigo Barajas here in the bottom of the third to lead things off. It's going to bring up Doskasil.
And that's
had
where
a base hit and an RBI in his first plate appearance. I'm sorry, no, go ahead.
I'll say that's where being the visiting team, you're at a disadvantage. I think Kenrich was just kind of unfamiliar with the ballpark's dimensions and how close he was to the wall. It wasn't very high off the wall. It looked like he could have easily caught that, but was just so concerned. He hesitated, and that hesitation allowed it to hit the wall and end up being an extra base hit.
Yeah, it just barely sailed over his glove. Wind is blowing out to center field right now, so maybe it carried just a little bit more than he anticipated.
Infield about halfway in.
Want to know to Doskasil. And in and scoring on the wild pitch is Barajas.
I wouldn't be surprised, though, if that's a pass ball. It did look like Deach reached up and maybe could have found his glove. We'll see. It's always a 50-50 call on those sometimes. But
Looking at the replay, it looks like it just clipped the glove of Deach, but it was a little high on the actual pitch. So definitely a lot to handle altogether. Grounder up the middle to second base. Throw to first in time. So up to bat next is going to be number 4, the DH, Bryson Hoyer. Singled in his first at bat with an RBI and advanced to second on a throwing error, or fielding error, I think, by the left fielder, one of those two. But the point is it was an error on that play. Swings and misses 1-1. The 1-1 outside, 2-1. So after giving up the leadoff triple to Barajas, who scored on a wild pitch, it looked like Banuelos was kind of finding his groove a little bit, but is now seemed to be losing it just a tad. Gets a swing and a miss on that pitch, 2-2 the count to Hoyer.
yeah, good call on the changeup there for Bruno. He did pitch an inning and a third in Tuesday's game. I'll look to see how many pitches he threw.
2-2. Swing and a miss. Down goes Hoyer.
So in that game Tuesday, he only threw 9 pitches. So I guess,
Efficient.
yeah, very efficient. Like I said, he pitches to contact. Sometimes you'll give up one that hits off the wall, but if your defense is on point, you could survive with him on the mound for an inning or two.
So here's Hayden Carlson.
I know I sound like a broken record, but Banuelos is another guy who's been able to play more because of the injuries due to the bullpen in the Santa Ana College roster. His first series, or his first appearance, came against Irvine Valley basically a month and a half into the season, and he was able to throw some strikes, and pitching coach liked what he threw. He's been able to get some more opportunities since then.
Now that 1-0 pitch looked like it was outside to me, but apparently that was in for a strike. So 1-1 and 1-2. That looked also outside. I don't know what's going on here with Stuart Caller, but Carlson finds himself in a 1-2 hole with 2 out here in the bottom of the third. Fouls that one off, staying alive.
And that's the one uniqueness, too, about just baseball compared to other sports and how it's officiated. It's just each umpire has a little bit different strike zone. Some guys like it a little bit more outside. Some guys like it a little more inside.
Which is fair.
Some high,
and
some
I know
low.
I'm not like directly over like home plate looking right at it, but I'm also looking at my camera, and it's telling me another thing. So Banuelos gets fouled off. Takes a little trip around the mound for a breather. Sets and delivers. Fouled off down the third base line. So Carlson staying alive here. We'll see if he actually gets something to really do with here and put one in play. And he takes that one off the front shoulder. You know that's going to hurt.
Third hit batter now that Saddleback has had this afternoon. Just turn it over to the top of the order, so I'm sure it wasn't intentional by any means by Banuelos. Just lost grip on the fastball there.
Yeah, so Derflinger was hit by a pitch in the first as well as Beauchene. And now Carlson. That's going to bring up Jake Tyler. That pitch out of the zone, 1-0. Banuelos looking to get out of this inning. Off-speed pitch, high inside for ball 2.
Carlson does have 3 stolen base attempts on the season, 2 of 3. We'll see if they put him in motion with 2 outs.
Must have just clipped the zone for strike 1. Manuelos checks the runner at first. Throws over. Not in time.
But we've seen that high leg kick, too, from the stretch from Banuelos. So an opportunity here for Carlson if he gets a good jump to make it into second.
Runners going. That's fouled off. 2-2. Carlson takes a decent lead over at first base. Throw over, not in time. Called strike 3. And down goes Jake Tyler for his second strikeout of the day. After 3 innings, Dons 2, Bobcats 5. We go to the top of the 4th. And coming up, it's going to be Allen, Kenrich, and Mueller for the Dons. And still out on the mound for the Bobcats is Damon Anderson Wolf.
He's done a nice job, too, since that first inning. Through 30 pitches, really had to work hard. It was bases loaded, but he was able to get back-to-back batters to sit down, so only gave up 1 run. He gave up another run in the 3rd inning, but both in that 2nd and 3rd inning, not very taxing innings. He was able to put more balls into the zone. Pitch count currently sitting at 58, so good chance that he can make it, at least through the 4th inning and possibly the 5th, depending how this inning goes. But overall, turned it around after a rocky start in that top of the 1st.
Yeah, absolutely. Having the bases loaded and able to escape with only 1 run against you, he's really locked in since then. Yeah, he's given up the 1 run in the 3rd, but he did have a nice little goose egg inning in the 2nd to only give up 2 runs so far here in this game. And, of course, as we've seen, from the Dons, it's not like they haven't been getting on base against the Bobcats here, but they haven't been able to get those key base hits to really bring in the runs that they've put into scoring position. And that's really also a credit to the defense here for the Bobcats. Because, of course, in the previous inning, there was that nice fly ball where they could have been a sac fly, but, Beauchene, cannon for an arm out there in right field, just threw one in at a laser to home, prevent that run from scoring. So we are in the top of the fourth. First pitch into Allen is in for a strike. The 0-1. Swing and a miss, strike two. So Anderson Wolf breaking out the off speed there, throwing off the timing of Garrett Allen. Hit up the right side to second base, and a nice diving stop made by Jake Tyler records the out at first.
Yeah, that one looked like it snuck up on him, picked up speed after the bounce, and he was still able to make the throw in time. Good athletic ability to get to that ball and stay with it.
So pinch hitter here. It's number 51, Sota Tashima. Pinch hitting for Kenrich.
Cool story, too. I'll tell you a little bit more after this pitch. Tashima's from Japan. He's from a town called Yokohama. It's actually not a town. It's the second biggest city in Japan. About an hour and 10 minutes away from Tokyo. But the first international player that Tom Nillis is able to pull. We've seen a few international players play here in different teams in the Orange Empire Conference.
And Tashima here on a 1-2 hole. And Tashima goes down swinging. As we can check that out here on the replay.
It looked like a changeup that just really had him off balance, expecting a fastball in the outer half.
And a great target right there on that outside corner for a nice swing and a miss. First pitch to Mueller outside, 1-0.
Tashima is listed as an outfielder and has played some games this season at center, so we'll see if he stays in defensively for Kenrich.
That one just clips the zone, strike one.
But I'm sure that substitution was more so on Kenrich's defensive effort on that play over in center field that allowed the triple to Barajas.
Yeah, now that you think about it, it's probably just a little precautionary there, for Kenrich, because I've walked the center field. That fence looks padded, but it's not. It's just like some little mesh netting out there, but behind that fence is still chain link, and it is not fun to run up against.
It's junior college, baby. There's no padded walls out here.
The only padding is in the little divider on the actual gates for where the locking is. Other than that, there's no padding. It is just a cover.
I haven't been to all the stadiums, but I know Golden West does have some padding out in right center to right field. But I can't say any other. I know Cypress and Santa Ana College don't have any padding. I don't think Orange Coast College has any padding in the outfield.
So Jack Mueller earns the walk.
Hit by pitch.
Oh, hit by a pitch. Thank you very much. Totally missed that. Because I'm I know he's on first. And here's Alta Marino, 1-0. Throw over to first, not in time.
Mueller does have 7 stolen bases, 7 of 10 in stolen base attempts this season. So him and Altamirano, the 2 leading stolen base getters, but not very aggressive.
And a comeback hit straight into the glove of Anderson Wolf. Let's check that out on the replay here. There's the pitch, and just ripped right back up the middle. Nice little dodging look there by Wolf. Just throws up his glove and reins it back in. And that is the end of the top of the fourth for the Dons. We go to the bottom of the fourth. So you can mark that down as a line out to the 1 position for the third and final out in your scorebooks. So as we go to the bottom of the fourth, it's going to be Sisitko, Derflinger, and Nilsson leading things off for the Bobcats. Banuelos back out there for his second inning of work.
It does look like Tashima will take over in center field, so we'll see if defense gets any better than what we saw from Kenrich.
And not to say that he wasn't providing good defense, it's just sometimes you get taken out by a fence.
Sometimes you get taken out by a fence.
It happens. And it's not at this level, it's at the major league level too. Aaron Judge got taken out by a fence once. It happens. This is just the game we play. Each baseball field and stadium is going to have its own little unique dimensions and quirks that makes it what it is. So here's Dmitry Sisitko leading things off yet again for the Bobcats. Walked in both of his previous plate appearances. Came around to score in the first inning with a stolen base and was thrown out at second on a fielder's choice back in the second inning. Has a 1-0 count here against Banuelos. Now 2-0 to start things off here in the fourth.
You can't see a number, but from our angle here in the press box, you do see a guy warming up, a right-hander warming up in the bullpen for Santa Ana College. So again, we'll see how long of a leash Banuelos is given.
Offered a bunt and pulls it back in time. 3-0. Pitch finds his own, 3-1. And really good discipline here by Sisitko to really show that patience at the plate. Could have had the 3-0 light. Grounder up the middle for a nice, easy base hit.
Yeah, longest outing of the season for Banuelos. He pitched 2 2/3 of an inning against Golden West College back on April 1st. The rest of his outings, an inning and 2/3, an inning and 2/3, 2 innings, an inning and a third in his last outing. So we'll see how long of a leash the Dons pitching staff gives him.
Pickoff attempt at first, not in time. So Banuelos still very conscious of the speed over at first base in Sisitko.
And the last time with the runner on, he still kept his high leg kick. We'll see if he uses a slide step or something to counter.
Still had a high leg kick there, but it was really rushed attempt there on the pitch out. So 1-0 to Derflinger. That one finds his own 1-1. Sisitko with an easy lead. Throw to first, not in time.
Third baseman Tomitaka was playing at the edge of the grass, now backs up a little bit.
Short lead over at first by Sisitko, and another throwback over. And it looks like Toby Wilson there was giving a little bit of talk. Hey, how about you throw a pitch?
I think he was saying something, too, though, about coming set first completely before going.
Runner goes, hit down the third base line, foul. Yeah, it's most likely, hey, you were a little quick there. Definitely come set. Otherwise, it's going to be a balk, and the guy's going to be on second anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So 1-2 to Derflinger. Wells checks the runner at second, comes set, and steps off. You know what's tricky, Noah? Trying to do the video switching when you're on already the infield camera, and you think, oh, he's totally going to go home. Nope.
Can't anticipate. You just got to react.
Yeah. Runner goes, pitch out, and an easy stolen base for Sisitko.
Yeah, Deech double clutched on that pitch out throw. It was a perfect call for the pitch out because Sisitko was hosed in between first and second. But because he double clutched, Deech did, and it was a high throw to the second base side as well, that allowed Sisitko to get in safely.
So runner on second, 2-2 the count. No outs to Derflinger. Little grounder, third base side. And out and in time is a play at first. Let's check that out on the replay here.
Yeah, Sanchez over at first base. He's a veteran. He's a sophomore for the Dons. We've seen him make a few great stretches over there and digs another one out of the dirt to save Tomitaka from the error.
The runner does advance. Actually, no, stays at second. I could have sworn the runner advanced a little bit, but really good play there by Tomitaka to keep the runner from advancing. And a really great dig out by the first baseman for Santa Ana. Comebacker to the pitcher. Tries to get the runner. So Sisitko is tagged out.
Yeah, heads up play by Banuelos right on the comebacker. On contact, Sisitko was heading for third. Banuelos immediately ran at him and forced him into a pickle. But heads up base running there by Nilsson. Again, another moment for the kids at home if they're watching. That's how you advance and steal a base off of a pickle and get as far as you can go while the defense is distracted on getting one guy out.
So I believe that's unassisted one.
No, he didn't tag him. It was a second baseman.
That's
so
right. Yeah.
1-4.
So 1-4. So fielder's choice 1-4, 2 outs now.
It was a close play at second, too, as Mueller tagged out Sisitko. Nilsson was barely getting into second, and if it wasn't for a wide throw, the Dons might have been able to double them off.
Would have been one of the most unconventional double plays you've ever seen. So here's Beauchene with a runner on second, 2 outs. Down in the count 0-1 to Banuelos, who's actually been really effective so far in his 1 2/3 of work so far.
Yeah, I like his game. He just throws strikes, and that's what I was kind of talking about earlier. Not going to blow you away with the speed or the movement on his pitches, but he forces the batter to swing the bat, and a lot of times he draws soft contact. Every now and then he'll give up a triple or a home run. I don't think I've ever seen that one before.
So step off by Banuelos, no throw.
Nilsson doesn't have any stolen base attempts, so not sure what they're worried about here, especially with 2 outs. Don't see him going to third on a stolen base attempt.
Down the middle in for a strike, 1-2.
Banuelos is one of those few guys, too, that is actually from the city of Santa Ana. He went to Segerstrom High School. If you look at up and down the roster, there's only a handful of guys, especially if you're not counting Foothill. Foothill is technically in Santa Ana, but it's almost in the neighborhood of Tustin. It's one of those unincorporated areas of the city of Santa Ana and very different tax bracket than most of the city.
Last pitch outside, 2-2 to Beauchene. Checks a swing. Did he go?
Oof.
No, says the first base umpire, Stephen Wanamaker.
Pretty fortunate there. It looked like from our angle here at the press box that he went.
So full count to Beauchene. And goes down swinging to end the inning.
Pretty nice little curveball that Banuelos has, and when you're throwing strikes with it as well, you keep the hitters on your toes. You can really throw all your pitches for strikes. It's really hard to guess and predict on what pitch is coming next for a batter. You don't let them get into a rhythm. I think Banuelos has done a nice job on the mound for the Dons this outing thus far.
Yeah, no runs, 1 hit for Saddleback there in the bottom of the 4th. Well, we go to the top of the 5th now. And coming up is going to be Kelly, Deach, and Tomitaka to lead things off for Santa Ana. And back out on the mound for his 5th inning of work is Damon Anderson Wolf, who has had a pretty efficient day so far today, Noah.
And it's very important for the Bobcats to develop some sort of rhythm and consistency as we head closer and closer to the postseason. We mentioned Anderson Wolf got his first start in this day 2 of a 3-game series last week against Golden West College. It only went 3 innings while giving up 3 runs. But it was Sammy Kova, and we also saw another guy by the name of Sterling Rapp get those starts in that day 2. So it just feels whether it's like injuries or guys not being consistent on the mound, both the Bobcats and the Dons have had to play mix and match and see who their starters are. And we'll see if Damon Anderson Wolf can be a valuable asset to them to start a game in the postseason.
Deep fly ball into left field. Can't get to it. Rounding first and heading to second for a stand-up double is going to be Mason Kelly.
So Kelly, seeing the ball really well, has a double and a single. And remember, he fouled one off that went all the way. It would have the distance for a home run, but it was well foul into the parking lot out past left field.
It looked like Sisitko had a beat on it, but it just kept on carrying.
Corners are playing in at the edge of the grass again. Dasco still over at third. Nilsson at first.
In the dirt, 1-0 to Connor Deach. And, of course, center field is giving us more camera trouble here. 1-0 pitch in for a strike, 1-1. big swing and a miss. 1-2. Connor Deach.
We mentioned that Connor Deach, too, a native of Mission Viejo, but he also had a brother by the name of Nick Deach that played here at Saddleback College, and instead of coming and following his brother here to play for the Bobcats, he went on to play at Santa Ana College.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3. So Deach goes down swinging for the first out here in the top of the 5th. That's going to break up number 29, Ken Tomataka. Walked in his first plate appearance and hit into a fielder's choice in the 3rd. Strike 1 to Tomataka. Wolf comes set, checks the runner at second. Comes to the plate, 0-2.
Yeah, and it's been a very generous outer part of the zone for Stuart Kohler behind home plate.
Just misses the zone, 1-2. Can't find the zone yet again, 2-2.
If he does get out of this 5th inning, this would be tied for his longest outing of the season.
Fouled out of play.
Early on in the season, he went 5 innings against College of the Canyons back in January 25th. That was the opening weekend. And then against Southwestern on February 4th, he also went 5 innings, gave up 1 run. Picked up his first 2 wins in his first 2 starts.
Oof. Just clips the zone for strike 3 against Tomataka. He goes down looking.
Yeah, it's tough when you're getting those calls at home plate, but he has been consistent. So as a batter, you have to adjust. Know that the zone is going to be a bit bigger today, especially on the outer edge of the plate. Just throw the bat out, try to make some contact, and stay alive.
It's going to bring up number 13, Kian Sanchez, playing first base for the Dons. That pitch clips the zone, 0-1. If anybody out there wants to donate a nice Terra deck to Sportsnet USA, we would be forever grateful. We could use one.
Is that what that's called? Terra deck?
It's one of the many high-quality video transmitters and receivers out there.
This one has the range, it's not performing or what?
It's just not performing. We don't know what it is. We've tried. It does the job for other locations, but here, frequency-wise, it's a little touchy. But Pterodecks, they're nice. So 1-2 to Kian Sanchez. Still 2 outs, runner on second. Dons down by 3, 5-2 our score. Just outside, 2-2.
Very close to the strikes that we saw called against Tomitaka just a batter ago. Sanchez does have 9 walks on the season.
In the dirt, 3-2. So Sanchez works the count full here against Anderson Wolf.
Next pitch will be number 85 for Anderson Wolf.
Comebacker stabbed by the second baseman, Jake Tyler, for the final out here in the top of the 5th. Fantastic heads-up play. Do you want to check that out again? It's going to cycle through again.
Gotcha. You want to hear some scores from around the Orange Empire Conference?
Yes,
during this inning break? So before we head to the bottom of the 5th, some scores from the conference. Again, both these teams play in the OEC. To the bottom of the 5th inning over at Irvine Valley, they had a big upset yesterday, but it doesn't look like they're going to upset today. Riverside City in a very commanding 18-0 lead. Yes, 18-0 is the score. Riverside City leads over Irvine Valley, bottom of the 5th. Over at Cypress, they lead Orange Coast 7-1. That game in the bottom of the 6th inning. And then Fullerton currently leading Golden West 5-2 in the bottom of the 6th. That game is at Golden West. So Fullerton in the lead, 5-2. Cypress leading 7-1, and Riverside City leading 18-0. You mentioned the standings at the very beginning of the broadcast. Cypress is alone in first at 14-2. Santa Ana, a couple games behind them now at 11-5. Riverside, 1 game behind Santa Ana at 10-6. Saddleback's 8-8. Golden West and Fullerton are tied at 7-9. So that's a big series between those two teams. While Orange Coast is at 4-12. Irvine Valley rounds out the lineup, or rounds out the standings, at 3-13. Looks like we're going to see Bruno Banuelo stay in the game, too, for Santa Ana College. So
definitely going to eat some innings here. That one singled up the right side, so Barajas on board early on here with a base hit. It's going to bring up Doskasil. And also, it's not much of an improvement, but it is an improvement. As of right now, who knows if he'll stay in the game for the remainder of today's game. But with the 5 innings that Anderson Wolf has pitched and the 2 runs he's given up, he has brought down his ERA from 5.96 to 5.66. That's a good day.
Very good day. And speaking of improving the numbers, Rodrigo Barajas now 3 for 3 today. That's 2 singles and a triple. In Tuesday's game, he went 1 for 3 and scored 2 runs. He also drew a walk. So just the series in general, maybe he'll see the batting average go up a couple points. Entered today with the batting average of 263. We mentioned last year he was well into the 300s batting average-wise, so a few ticks down from last season, but still making an impact.
And that should go up a few points.
He hit that triple off the wall back in the bottom of the 3rd.
And, of course, that triple took out Kenrich.
And that looks like Bruno Banuelos out of the game, and we'll see Johnny Morales.
So Aiden Collin only lasted a 1/3 of an inning. Sorlizano went 1 2/3. And Banuelos, I believe, went 2 innings, if my math is correct there. Yeah, that looks right. And now Johnny Morales taking over for Santa Ana here in the 5th.
So Aiden Collins started the game, and we mentioned that he's from Pacifica High School. Johnny Morales, also from Pacifica High School over on the west side of Garden Grove. He spent last season as a red shirt as part of the program, but didn't play in any games. Has a lot of movement on his pitches, but like we mentioned with Sorlozano and Collins, sometimes just struggles to throw strikes.
So here's Joey Doskasil. Drops down a bunt, fielded by the third base for the Dons, records the out at first. Barajas advancing to second on the fielder's choice.
I always like seeing that too, regardless of the level of baseball. I think, especially in the majors, we get caught up in the launch angles and everyone's swinging for the fences. But there's something beautiful about the small ball, especially when you can cash that runner in.
So here's Bryson Hoyer. Singled and drove in a run in his first at-bat in the first inning and struck out in the third. And is in a good position to probably bring in Barajas, who's currently standing on second base. And gets hit by the pitch. That's the 4th hit batsman here today for Saddleback.
That one looked like it caught him right in the shin guard too, so that's why those players wear those. Obviously for the foul balls, 2 off their front leg, but every now and then when a ball catches them there, it all makes sense.
So here's number 15, Hayden Carlson. Hit by a pitch in his previous at-bat.
Starting to recognize a trend.
Hit out to right field and drops in for a base hit. Runners will hold. So the bases are juiced with 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th.
Surprised that they didn't send Barajas. He has pretty good speed for a catcher. He has those long legs as well.
I was surprised by that as well. He definitely was in a good position to absolutely score from second base on that hit. But I don't know if they were willing to try and test out the arm of Mason Kelly out there in right field.
So corner infielders are going to play in, both Sanchez and Tomitaka.
Here's Tyler, just fouls one out down the right field line. Just misses being fair in play.
Yeah, probably by a foot or two.
And of course, Jake Tyler made the absolutely fantastic diving stab to record the final out in the top of the 5th and finds himself in a favorable position to help his team out here. Singled up the middle, and the Dons can't get to it. Barajas in to score, and beating the play at home and diving in is Hoyer.
Great throw from Tashima in center, just bang, bang play, and Hoyer was able to get underneath the tag. 2 more runs come in for Saddleback.
So 2 RBIs for Tyler. And we're back to the top of the order here for the Bobcats. Here is Dmitry Sisitko. Pitch goes wild and both runners advance. Runners on second and third now.
That one sounded like it hit off either the bat or the helmet, but it must have been Deitch's glove. But a very catchable pitch if it did hit his glove. They do rule it a passed ball here. Now a little mound visit between just the players only. Again, Deitch in his third year with the program. He was a redshirt the year the Dons won in 2023. Played 36 games last year. He's making his 32nd start on the season in 2025 this year for the Dons. Looks like the infield's going to play at the edge of the grass.
So runners on second and third, 1 out and 1-0 to Sisitko. Takes that one in for a strike. Outside, 2-1. Singled up the middle. Shortstop has it. Runner held up at third, and he'll be out at the plate.
Yeah, Carlson was almost forced to go there because the runner at second and Tyler just made a beeline right to third base. Maybe because it was Altamirano right in the vicinity, so he couldn't go back to second.
Yeah, not the smartest of base running there. But Carlson basically was kind of forced to go. But runners on the corners, 2 away, and Bobcats up by 5 here in the 5th.
Morales has shown a pretty high leg kick as well. Surprised we're not going to see Sisitko try and test the pitcher and the catcher again and swipe second.
Sisitko goes with no throw. So an easy stolen base for Dimitri. And Derflinger with a 2-1 count. Runners on second and third, 2 out. Fouled back out of play, 2-2. See if Morales can get out of the inning with just only the 2 runs being allowed. Deuces wild, 2 on, 2 out, 2-2. Hit back out to center field. Little lazy fly ball reined in by Sota Tashima. That's going to do it for the Bobcats here in the 5th. So we have 2 runs on 3 hits, I believe that was there, and an error. But we go to the top of the 6th. Yeah, 2 runs on 3 hits there in the bottom of the 5th for the Bobcats. 7 runs in total for Saddleback to Santa Ana's 2. And we do have a new pitcher on the mound for Saddleback. Looks like that's number 18, Jake Porter.
Porter's a sophomore. He's one of 18 sophomores here on the roster from Tesoro High School. Porter's appeared in 7 games this season. He's pitched 9 1/3 innings. He's given up 15 hits, 4 earned runs. Has a record of 0-1, ERA of 3.86. He has walked 7 batters to only 4 strikeouts, so something to keep an eye on. We'll see if he struggles to find the strike zone this afternoon. That's the second pitcher we're seeing here for the Saddleback Bobcats. And after that rocky start, a great outing, maybe not a great, but a solid outing by Damon Anderson-Wolf.
So 1-1 to Sanchez.
Williams.
Wait, where am I at? Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm a little behind on my scorebook here with all my various duties. Thank you.
Sanchez had that line out to end the top of the 5th.
That's what I didn't mark down, which makes a whole lot more sense. Thank you, Noah. So 2-2 to Williams. Foul back out of play. And in the world of softball, we do have a final score. Saddleback 2, Santa Ana 1. So Saddleback pulls off a win in the OEC against Santa Ana for softball and improve their standings. Full count to Williams. And that's ball 4, so Williams earns himself the walk to start things off here in the top of the 6th for Santa Ana.
You mentioned the softball team, though. They have a new head coach this season. They've been one of the better teams here in Southern California. Always good to see a program get turned around. We did mention how Porter now has 8 walks on the season to only 4 strikeouts, so.
Nice little snap throw from Barajas, almost picking off Nathaniel Williams at first base.
Yeah, I'm sure his dad's given him many lessons on that. What a great opportunity to have somebody like that as your mentor.
Absolutely. Barajas was a great snap throwing catcher for the Dodgers when his time here. I remember that time. It was great times. One and one to Garrett Allen. Swing and a miss, 1-2. One-two pitch in the dirt. Barajas able to stay on top of it.
He's had a really good day at the plate, too, defensively, stopping a lot of balls in the dirt, making some solid throws around the diamond.
Grounded up the third base side. Get the out at second and at first in time. So 5-4-3 double play.
Really impressive turn there, especially by the second baseman, Tyler, to stay in so long because it was such a slow dribbler to the third baseman, Doskosil. Tyler was going to have to face a tough slide from Williams coming in, but he makes an accurate throw to first in time.
It's going to bring up number 51, Sota Tashima. Took over for Cole Kenrich back in the fourth inning. That was after Kenrich missed a deep fly ball out to center field, which allowed Barajas his first triple of the game. Single right back up the middle for a base hit. Toshima big round at first base, but will cheat.
Now Toshima probably has the best speed here on the Dons roster. We'll see if he's aggressive and wants to go. He's 2 for 3 in stolen base attempts. Hasn't had a whole lot of opportunity, but by far one of the faster players on the roster.
Now, one thing that I've noticed, that I don't recall ever being here before, but at first base they have that extra bag on the inside for the runner.
They do. They're working that in on a lot of collegiate levels, especially in the NCAA. We see that pretty much in every home game. Haven't seen that at the other ballparks I've been to, but again, this is the first season that they're kind of bringing that back.
And so Jake Porter drills the batter. So Mueller finds himself on first base. Toshima will advance to second. It's going to bring up number 2, Christian Altamirano. Hit right past second base. Throw in from right field, not in time. Toshima scores from second base. We got runners on the corners.
Yeah, nice piece of hitting there by Altamirano. There was a big gap on the right side, just shoots it over, picks up an RBI. Toshima has that lights out speed, so he was scoring with 2 outs from second.
So chalk up an RBI for Mueller. 2 outs, runners on first and second. And we'll get a meeting on the mound here for Jake Porter.
Yeah, and Altamirano is one of those players, too. Another sophomore in the lineup for the Dons. Played 50 games last year as a freshman and at an important position, too, like shortstop. So it's always important when you get a veteran like that back in the lineup and defensively comes through there for the Dons. It's a 4-run lead, which you would think, against a regular team should be comfortable enough. But both these teams, again, 2 of the best teams and programs in Southern California, so never count either of these teams out regardless of the lead. We've seen both these teams during the season score 20-plus runs in a game.
And, like you said, 4-run lead. Should be safe, but how many games have we seen here that have gone the wayside where leads you thought were safe definitely weren't? We had that doubleheader last year where it's like, when did that day end?
I don't think I was there with you. Was that Orange Coast?
It might have been, yeah.
Yeah.
I know it was Corey for sure who was there with me. I thought you were there.
But I do remember checking the box scores because Orange Coast forced that game 3, correct?
It was ridiculous, yeah.
Bottom of the 10th.
Drilled out to left field. Reining it in. And to end the inning is Sisitko. So Mason Kelly flies out to left field to end the inning. 1 run on 2 hits. And after 5.5 innings played, Saddleback 7, Dons 3. So we go to the bottom of the 6th. And it should be Barajas, Doskasil, and Hoyer coming up. No, sorry, Nilsson, Boshane, Barajas. Totally misreading where my line was.
Looks like we're going to see a new pitcher on the mound, too, for the Dons, Colin Galvin. Wears number 39. He's a freshman from Servite High School, so played in the Trinity League. Always a lot of tough competition. Like Banuelos, he also pitched in Tuesday's game. He only went 2/3 of an inning, so picked up the final 2 outs back in the top of the 9th in Tuesday's contest. Let's see how many pitches he threw. He threw 7. So should have the green light to go an inning or 2 if he can get through it. On the season, Galvin's making his 5th appearance out of the pen. Has thrown 4 innings, given up 4 hits, 4 earned runs. Has also issued 4 walks and has 3 strikeouts. An ERA of 9 flat.
So leading off for the Bobcats is going to be number 35, Andres Nilsson. One for 3 so far today with a strikeout and a base hit. Fouled back, 0-1. Second pitch way outside, 1-1. Next pitch taken high inside, 2-1. And if you're Nilsson, you really just don't want to be like, what, the 7th batter hit today?
I think 6 or 7. It's getting up there. We're nearing double digits.
Popped up. See if it stays in play. Just goes back into the bleachers there.
Yeah, those are always tough with the amount of top spin that you get. It'll look like it's going further back, but then sometimes spins back into play. But
you know, I'm pretty sure our center field camera is slowly falling out of position because I don't remember us not being able to see ourselves in the in the press box here in the upper part of your screen. I think it's like slowly tilting down, which might account for, you know, the angle at which the transmitter is putting it out.
maybe the wind playing a factor.
Yeah. That's the darndest thing. One away here in the 6th. Buchanan offers at the first pitch, 0-1. Oh, and 2. That ball just clips the outside part of the zone.
Good spot there by the pitcher, Galvin. Again, 5th pitcher we're seeing for the Dons.
1-2.
Pretty much a bullpen game with Andrew Parker unable to go in today's start. We'll see how that affects Saturday's game, game 3 of this series.
And Buchanan goes down looking. Called strike 3. So here is Rod Barajas Jr.
And for the Bobcats, you want to make sure you keep your foot on the gas pedal. It's still a 7-3 game. Dons are very well within striking distance.
Ripped out to center field for a base hit. So Barajas stays perfect, 4 for 4 today.
Triple and 3 singles. Scored 3 times. Let's see if he can make it 4. And a very good day at the plate. We mentioned not as strong as a year behind or at the plate, batting-wise. 263 entering today, but he'll be closer to that 300 mark.
Outside 1-0 to Dos Casil. Just low, 2-0.
On the first pitch, Barajas faked like he was going to go. So we'll see if he's still aggressive. Galvin using a high leg kick. Something to keep an eye on. Dasco dropped a sacrifice bunt in his last at-bat.
2-0 pitch in the zone for a strike, 2-1. Barajas conservative lead over at first base with 2 out and a 4-run lead. Swing and a miss, 2-2. Popped up, hit out into right field, but retreating out and making the catch is Jack Mueller, recording the final out.
Speaking of sacrifice bunts, we have our very own Ed Ford in the building with us. You would have appreciated the sacrifice bunt earlier today. I know we've had some conversations about it before. And then, yes, Saddleback College did defeat Santa Ana College in softball. That score just went final, 2-1 over at Santa Ana College. Let's go ahead and update you some scores from around the OEC. It's been about 2 innings since we updated you on scores. Top of the 7th inning, Riverside City leads 22-1. Yes, 22-1 over Irvine Valley. Cypress leads Orange Coast College 7-3 in the top of the 8th. And then Fullerton leading 6-4 over Golden West. That game is in the top of the 8th. So Golden West narrowing the gap Irvine Valley looks like they're going to pick up their 14th loss of conference play. And Cypress looks like they're going to pick up their 15th win. Remember, Golden West College won the conference last year. They won it with a record of 15-6. Cypress looks poised to top that record. If Cypress hangs on for a conference title, that would be their first conference title since 2009. So it's been quite some time since Cypress captured an OEC title. Again, last year it was won by Golden West. 2 years ago, it was a two-way tie between Saddleback and Riverside City, and Riverside City went on to win the state championship. And the last 4 teams to win the state championship have all been from the Orange Empire Conference, 7 of the last 10.
So leading off here in the top of the 7th, number 18, Connor Deutsch fouls back the first pitch, 0-1. And center field looks like it's stabilized yet again. I don't know what's up with it. It comes in, it comes out, but it looks good right now. So I'm gonna take it.
Sometimes that's technology, you know. It's
Yeah.
never perfect, at least when we want it to be.
Yep. Drilled out to center field, retreating back and making a well-played catch is Derflinger.
That's back-to-back outs. We've seen the outfielders make some pretty impressive catches. It was Sisitko in left field to rob a hit from Mason Kelly. Both were effective on the base pass using their speed, but both using their speed here in the outfield.
So here comes Ken Tomitaka. Third baseman here for the Dons. Drops down a bunt. Stays fair. And he's going to be safe at first.
That was a perfectly placed bunt. That wasn't a sacrifice either. That was a straight drag bunt, and probably one of the better ones here I've seen at this level.
So an infield single for Ken Tomitaka. Puts a runner on first. Throw to first, not in time.
Looks like there was miscommunication, too, right before the pickoff move. Barajas looked over to this dugout, and maybe as he fielded the bunt, he did slide in the grass a little bit and maybe knocked around the pitch comm and wasn't able to communicate what pitches for Porter to throw. So he gets that adjusted over there by his third base dugout. And the last time Sanchez was up, he hit that liner right to Tyler, and Tyler made a pretty impressive play over there at second base. Very little reaction time. We've seen that a few times. Tyler at second, and then was it Anderson Wolf on the mound? A line drive.
Yeah, that's a little comebacker straight back at the mound there. Quick dodge, threw up his glove, made an excellent heads-up catch.
It's always unfortunate as a batter when you make really great contact, but it just goes right to somebody.
So Kian Sanchez up now. He fouls that one back. 0-1 the count. Outside, 1-1. Hit out to center. And recording the out is Derflinger yet again. So another F8.
Another pretty good contact there made by Sanchez, but just finding a defender. Routine play out in center field. Believe it or not, the Dons are out hitting the Bobcats 11-10. The Bobcats have capitalized, put across more runs, and have the 7-3 lead.
Here's Nathaniel Williams, takes first pitch for a strike, 0-1. Here's the 1-1 to Williams. Grounder up the first base side. And a nice diving stop by Nilsson to record the third and final out. So unassisted.
The Bobcats have that kind of day defensively, just being in the right spots, laying out to make a few nice defensive outs. The pitcher got in on the action too. Damon Anderson-Wolf caught a line drive back to end the fourth inning. But good defense all around will get you pretty far, especially at this level. They've got some good pitching from both Anderson-Wolf and Porter.
Yeah, so no runs, one hit for the Dons there on the top of the seventh. We go to the bottom of the seventh now. And coming up for Saddleback, it's going to be Hoyer, Carlson, and Tyler. And we got a new pitcher on the mound for the Dons as well. It's going to be number 21. Oops, sorry, wrong roster. Number 21, Tyler Sandu.
So Tyler Sandu is a redshirt freshman from Tustin High School. Spent all of last season recovering from an injury. Earlier this season, he was projected to be the day one starter in game one of a three-game series. He does have 4 starts on the season, but he's also made 4 appearances out of the pen. He just looks a lot more comfortable coming out of the bullpen. And he's pitched 14 2/3 of an inning, given up 16 hits, 8 earned runs, does have 17 strikeouts, and has an ERA of 4.91. Sandu's going to be the 6th pitcher, so full bullpen game here for the Dons and head coach Tom Nilles. First saw Aiden Collin. He could only get 1 out. Then Sor Lozano, followed by Banuelos, Johnny Morales, Colin Galvin, and now Tyler Sandu. Second pitch is in there for strike 2. No balls and 2 strikes to count to the DH Hoyer. 7, 8, 9 hitters due up in this half of the inning. Sandu going from the windup. Strike 3. Hoyer goes down looking for out number 1, a backwards K. Our man Albert working on getting the center field camera fixed. Next batter up is the shortstop Hayden Carlson. He had a single in his last at-bat. He was gunned out at home. There was runners on second and third. The infield was in, and he went for home. Altamirano made a strong throw over to Deitch, who applied the tag. Carlson offers at the first pitch. 0-1 the count. He's 1 for 2 on the day. Struck out swinging in his first at-bat, then was hit by a pitch.
All right. So I think we got things kind of figured out a little bit. We got center field straightened away, courtesy of Ed Ford, helping us out a little bit. 0-2 to Carlson after the strikeout by Hoyer. 0-2 pitch goes wide outside, 1-2. The 1-2. Hit up towards the left side, towards the shortstop. Throw is offline, but the tag is spot on. And check that out on the replay here.
Again, that's where having that veteran first baseman, Sanchez steps off the bag, but right into the first base line, and as the runner passes, applies the tag. Very smooth dig, and tag applied there by the sophomore.
So a quick 2 out here in the bottom of the 7th for the Bobcats. Score that play 6-3. It's going to bring up Jake Tyler. First pitch is a ball. Ripped into the hole between third and short for a base hit.
Tyler's had a pretty solid day at the plate, now going 2 for 4. And if you go back to Tuesday's game, I can find the box score. I just had it with me. Tyler also went 2 for 4, so very identical days at the plate. Solid little 9-hitter here for the Bobcats.
So 1 on, 2 out. Sandu had a quick 2 outs for the single by Tyler. We're back to the top of the order. Here's Dmitry Sasidko. First pitch is a ball, 1-0 to the leadoff hitter. Low outside, ball 2.
Always tough, too, when you got to deal with the top of the order because there's such good speed coming out of the batter's box. So any high chopper or tough play for any of the infielders, it's not a guaranteed out. We do see a mound visit here from the pitching coach for Santa Ana College.
Probably just trying to get the nerves to calm down just a little bit. I mean, you already got, 2 outs very quickly by striking out Hoyer and getting Carlson to ground out to short. So he's got to kind of check the nerves. Yes, Sasidko is at the plate, dangerous hitter, but he only has 1 hit today. Earned the walk twice in his first 2 plate appearances and got on base in his last at-bat after a fielder's choice. So he is capable of swinging the bat and getting on base. But with Tyler on first, I believe that'll kind of hold back the speed just a little bit on Sasidko's part, knowing that can't exactly surpass Tyler on the base pass. (2-0) in for a strike, 2-1.
Seems like whatever was said there by the pitching coach helped ease Sandu's nerves.
Two, 1 from Sandu. Grounder up the left side. Shortstop has it. Thrown high off the bag. And Sasidko is on at first on. I think technically that's a fielder's choice, but also base hit because everyone was safe.
Yeah, it's an infield single for Sasidco. Again, using that speed out of the batter's box. It's a high chopper. Those are the toughest ones because you can't go up and get it any sooner. You have to wait for it to come down, and Altamirano could do all he, or did all he could.
Way outside, but able to stay in front of it and knock it down is Deach. Tyler, of course, advanced to second on the infield single on behalf of Sasidco. So runners on first and second with 2 away here in the bottom of the 7th. Derflinger at the plate. Checks his swing, called strike 1. Sandu sets, delivers. Foul down the right field line, 1-2. Sandu comes in today with an ERA of 4.91 across 14 and 2/3 innings of work. Foul back, out of play again by Derflinger.
Battle brewing here between Derflinger and Sandu. Derflinger still looking for his first hit in the afternoon, trying to get on the hit parade. Bobcats have 12, but Derflinger is still hitless.
He's been on base 3 times, just hasn't knocked one in yet. Grounder up the left side. Altamirano has it. And the play is recorded out at first. So we go to the top of the 8th. And coming up for Santa Ana, it's going to be Allen, Tashima, and Mueller. And we do have a new pitcher on the mound for the Bobcats, and that's going to be number 21, Isaac Rodriguez.
Rodriguez on the season. He's a sophomore from Bakersfield, California. But he's making a 7th appearance for the Bobcats this season. Has an ERA of 3.24. Has pitched 8 1/3 innings, given up 3 earned runs, 6 strikeouts to 1 walk. Again, it's his 7th appearance out of the bullpen for Saddleback College this season. While we have this break in the action, too, let's go ahead and see if we have some score updates. Riverside City still leading Irvine Valley 23-1 in the top of the 8th. Cypress leading Orange Coast 7-4 in the top of the 9th. So Cypress looking to hang on for win number 15 in conference play. And then Fullerton defeating Golden West 6-4 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Those are the scores. Almost all the games around the OEC nearing an end.
So here's Garrett Allen leading things off for Santa Ana here in the top of the 8th. 1 for 3 so far today. Takes that first pitch for a ball, 1-0.
Dons are down to their final 6 outs, so if they want to put together a rally, they have limited opportunity to do so.
And they'll get a runner on base as Rodriguez drills Garrett Allen right there on the left side on the second pitch of the at-bat.
Interested to see if the Dons maybe use a pinch runner here. Allen's not the fastest guy, but it's still a 4-run game. But he is the DH, so you don't mind burning a sub for that DH spot.
That certainly would be an interesting move. I'm not against it, but you also want to make sure that the guy taking over at the DH can at least swing the bat too, in addition to his speed. Because you definitely don't want to lose that position for the remaining 2 innings that you might get if you're able to put up some more runs and get some more people on base.
Exactly. You're chasing 4, so there's a good chance if you get all 4, you're going to have to bat around once again at the very least, even this late in the 8th inning.
Second pitch is a ball, so 2-0 to Tashima.
It feels like Kohler has given that outside corner or the outside edge to righties, but against left-handed batters, doesn't have that same leeway.
2-0 pitch in for a strike, 2-1 to Sota Tashima.
Third baseman playing at the edge of the grass.
Throw over to first, not in time, as Allen is back safely at the bag. Out to left center, tracking it down and recording the out is Derflinger. Quick throw back to the infield, preventing any tag up from Allen.
More good range we're seeing from the outfielders here. Derflinger's now had 2 of them. So Sitko had 1 nice one in left field. Both of those outfielders look like they could have gotten to that ball, but a long way ran by Derflinger out in center.
And Derflinger definitely had the advantage, given that both he is a righty, left fielder also a righty, but he's running to his right, so he has at least the arm slot advantage with the catch to get the throw back in safely. So we're back to the top of the order for the Dons. Here's Jack Mueller. Ahead in the count already, 1-0. Takes that pitch in for a strike, 1-1. Mueller 1 for 2 so far today. Flew out to center field in his first at-bat, singled in his second, and was hit by the pitch in his 2 previous plate appearances.
Yeah, he's going to need an ice bath. Oh!
And we're going to have a nice double play unassisted to the 3 position as Mueller just lines one out to the first baseman, Nilsson, unassisted 1.
Yeah, that's some pretty good fortune there for the Bobcats. We mentioned it earlier. A lot of liners going right to defenders here this afternoon, and there's another one right to Nilsson at first. An easy double play, a big rally killer for the Dons, and they're down to their final 3 outs.
So we head to the bottom of the 8th. And leading off for the Bobcats will be Nilsson, Bouchane, and then Barajas. And, of course, Nilsson just made that fantastic heads-up play at first base to record the second and third outs of the top of the 8th. And we also have a new pitcher on the mound for the Dons, number 30, Kalani Santos.
Yeah, this one's a real, maybe not head-scratcher, but I'm really curious to see how this impacts Game 3 coming up on Saturday, because Kalani Santos all season has been the Day 3 starter of the series. He's made 9 appearances. All 9 have been starts. He has a record of 4-2, an ERA of 6.54. In 42 2/3 of an inning, he's given up 39 runs, 52 hits. He has 40 strikeouts to 24 walks, but I wonder if that means he will not be starting in Saturday's game. And this is his first relief appearance out of the bullpen this season.
Let's see. Well, realistically, depending on how the game script goes, if the Dons are unable to put up any runs to tie the game and force what would be a bottom of the ninth, this would probably be the only inning he'll pitch.
Fair, and if he keeps the low pitch count, he could still go on Saturday, but rarely see something like this.
But with an ERA of 6.96, I don't know how low that pitch count can possibly be. I mean, it's not to say he doesn't have it. I mean, like, an ERA can very easily be inflated by many, many things that maybe aren't necessarily in the pitcher's control.
Now it looks like time is called out in center field. And
oh, is that Ed Ford getting trapped out there? Oh, no, just a rogue baseball.
just a rogue baseball. I was wondering the same thing.
Nobody rushing the field. Ed Ford's probably just back in his van, chilling.
Maybe he's by the creek.
Yeah. Probably admiring that golf course out in the distance. Probably thinking, if only I had my golf clubs. First pitch to Nilsson in for a ball, 1-0 the count here to lead things off to Nilsson.
Kalani Santos from Mater Dei High School, so another Trinity League player. Mater Dei right down the street from Santa Ana College.
Drill down the left field line, foul. You know, now that we have center field fixed up a bit, I might have to go back through the game footage and see just when it started tilting down a little bit. But I wouldn't be surprised if that camera started tilting down around the third inning or so.
When Kenrich
hit the wall a bit, because that tripod is right up against the fence, and that pretty much was right where he hit, around that 400 mark.
You're right. That definitely could have been an impact. We're glad that it didn't move it around anymore.
So Nilsson grounds out to second base.
Didn't even think about that. It was a pretty big collision with the wall.
Yeah. Like, I don't think he would have hit where the camera is, because the camera's well above the fence. But the legs of the tripod are very much right down there. So I wouldn't be surprised if some little contact was made to kind of shake it and just throw it off a little bit. So one away for Bushane. First pitch in for a strike, 0-1 the count.
You know what we should have done? In between innings, when Ed was working on the camera, we should have pointed the other camera at Ed.
It was out there. It might have been doing it.
No, I know, but zoom in, give him a little shout out, that kind of deal.
Two and one to Bushane. In for a strike, 2-2.
Bushane still looking for his first hit of the day, 0 for 3.
Santos, the 2-2. Did he check his swing? Yes, he did. No appeal down to first, but it was low enough. Grounded back, foul, will do it again. And the payoff pitch. And we have time called by the umpire.
It's going to be a great pitch, too, from Santos. It looked like a breaking ball that broke onto the inner half. We'll see if he throws it again.
And the payoff pitch to Beauchene, grounded, foul.
That time he went with the fastball.
Warming up in the bullpen for the Bobcats is number 30, Joseph Norris. And ball 4.
Good at bat there by Beauchene. Took a couple tough pitches, fouled off a few other ones to stay alive, and then that 3-2 pitch was pretty close, so good discipline to lay off.
So that's going to bring up Rod Barajas Jr., who's a perfect 4 for 4 today. And we'll see if he can make some more magic happen here for the Bobcats in the bottom of the 8th. Offers at the first pitch, fouled back, out of play, 0-1. Santos sets, takes a nice deep breath out there on the mound, and delivers. Foul back, 0-2. So Barajas just a little late on his timing on the pitches here for Santos. We'll see if he can increase the bat speed just a tad and rip one out.
Because the Dons have used so many pitchers, Barajas has had to get a hit against a different pitcher, all different, all 4 times. Never saw the same guy twice.
Runner takes off. Throw is offline. So in at second base with a stolen bag is Beauchene.
Beauchene now has 8 stolen bases on the season. Pretty good jump over there at first. Deach threw out the first runner that tried to steal on him, but since then his last 2 throws have kind of been off target.
So Barajas still behind in the count, 1-2. Takes that one outside, 2-2. Barajas singled in the first, driving in 2. Tripled in the third, singled in the 5th and the 6th, and came around to score all 3 times except for the 6th. Drills that one up the right side to record the second out of the inning. But going to third on the play is Beauchene.
So first time he's recorded out today. Tried to go for the perfect 5 for 5, but couldn't do it.
So here's Doskasil. Fouls off the first pitch, 0-1. Inside, 1-1. Just catches the inside of the plate, 1-2.
Those are tough to see as a hitter, too, because you see that ball look like it's going to hit you, but then it breaks onto the inner half of the plate.
Foul tip into the glove, strike 3. And that's going to end the inning. So no runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the top of the 9th. And it's last up for the Dons. Coming up to bat, it's going to be Christian Altamirano, Mason Kelly, and Connor Deach.
Looks like Isaac Rodriguez will still stay out there. You mentioned that there was a pitcher warming up for the Bobcats. I'm sure he'll be ready to go in case Rodriguez runs into any bit of trouble. He only threw 8 pitches in that last inning because he got that double play ball, a line drive right to Nilsson. Bobcats have had that kind of day defensively. A few nice plays, one by Tyler, one by Anderson Wolf, who was on the mound to start the game. Nilsson's was right to him. A couple of nice plays in the outfield as well by Derflinger in center, and then one nice play by Sasidko over in left field.
And, of course, Bashane had that one fly catch to prevent the sac fly.
That's right, he did with a nice strong throw over to home. Small things matter, and when you can play good defense, you limit the amount of opportunities that your opponent can cash in on. And it goes back to that top of the first inning, right? The Dons had the bases loaded, came away with 1 run. Bobcats had the bases loaded in the bottom of the first and came away with 4. Dons, funny enough, are trailing by that number.
First pitch catches the out part of the zone for strike 1. And he's drilled in the back. And you know that's got to hurt. But Altamirano is on base.
Seen a few hit batters on both sides. On the season, it's the 5th time. I was looking at Mueller's. Only the 5th time that Altamirano's been hit by a pitch. But it's a leadoff runner's on.
Deep fly ball out to left center. Derflinger can't get to it. Rounding second and heading to third is Altamirano. And at second base with a stand-up double is Mason Kelly.
Yeah, in a similar spot to where he hit the last one. And remembered, Sasidko had that nice play in left field or left center, ranging over to his left to grab that one. That time, Kelly was able to drill it a little further out of the reach of Derflinger.
So that's going to bring up number 18, Connor Deutsch. And Altamirano was the 4th Don hit by a pitch today.
Dons have been hit by 4. Bobcats have what? Been hit by 5?
I think so.
So one more and we'll have double digits total for the game, both sides.
First pitch to Deach in for a strike, 0-1.
Didn't have that one on my bingo card today.
So 2 on, no out, 0-1 to Connor Deach, catcher for Santa Ana. Fouls that one back out of play, 0-2.
Does look like the first baseman, Nilsson, playing near the edge of the grass, the rest of the infield at regular depth.
We'll see if Rodriguez can escape some damage here. Joseph Norris still ready in the pen for the Bobcats. Outside 1-2. We'll see if Summer McCartney goes to the pen anytime soon. Either 1, Rodriguez can get this hitter out, or 2, he puts him on, and to the pen we go.
They could use another line drive double play, right?
It certainly would be well timed. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Big first out there.
So that's going to bring up number 29, Ken Tomitaka. In the dirt, 1-0.
Man, Barajas has been so money today behind home plate, blocking all those with his chest plate. We saw a few get away from Dietz, the Don's catcher, but Barajas just on a different level.
Yeah, the way Barajas sets up behind the plate is probably the lowest I've seen from any catcher. He usually splays one leg out, sometimes goes down to one knee, but he's basically resting on the dirt every time he sets up low. And that ball is fouled out. It looks like the out was recorded, so 2 away.
Huge out. Nielsen went all the way up against the wall. I thought that one was going to drift into the bullpen. It's tough to see from our camera angle here because of the dugout building.
Yeah, the dugout just covered it, but the out was recorded, and critically enough, it wasn't that far out into foul territory where you could have seen Altamirano tag up from third. Didn't risk it.
I'm glad they didn't because I wasn't ready to go back to home. I don't know if the camera speed would have been fast enough.
Well, I could have caught it with the center field camera.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
See?
Try to have as many angles as we can.
This is why you're in charge. Two quick strikes on Sanchez now.
See if Sanchez can deliver with 2 out. And runners on second and third, down by 4. Off the plate, 1-2. Rodriguez comes set, not even focused on the runners. Just off the plate, 2-2.
Good discipline there by Sanchez, too. Again, we've seen an extended zone here by the home plate umpire, Stuart Kohler. But just outside of that reach.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that is the game. So the Bobcats come away with a nice win over the Santa Ana Dons. 7-3 final is our score. And a great win by the Bobcats here today. And looking over the box scores and everything else here, since Santos was like the last person on the mound for Santa Ana, he did only pitch the 1 inning. I don't think he threw a lot of pitches. He could still very much pitch again on Saturday and probably give the Dons a little bit more innings.
It's a good win for the Bobcats, though. They get the series victory, now taking the first 2 games of the series.
Yeah, they'll move to 9-8 in the OEC. Santa Ana will be 11-6. I don't think there's going to be much movement in the conference standings there. But, of course, there are still quite a few more games to be played here in the OEC. And we'll, of course, keep an eye on those standings when we come back for the next one. I'm not quite sure when that is, but I know there is another game that we're doing here on SportsNetUSA.net. But until that game, I'm Albert Robles. He's Noah Alvarez. For Ed Ford, chilling in his van, you've been watching Saddleback Baseball right here on SportsNetUSA.net.